Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
Joy Nightingale.
And today we have landed in a spot I've wanted to come my whole entire life. We're actually in Tombstone, Arizona. Now, this is a cool town, and I like because we've been to some silver mines that turned to ghost towns, but this one hasn't. Tombstone has very carefully made the transition from silver mine into tourist attraction without ever turning into a ghost town. If you see around us, there's people walking behind us. This town is alive and well. Now, Tombstone was founded in 1877 by a man. Now, I get to brutalize another name because we know I'm good at brutalizing names.
Butcher it.
Eddie Schiffeline, I don't know. In 1877, he was a prospector, and he was like, "Ooh, out in those Apache land right there, I bet you I could find lots of silver." And all his friends were like, "The only thing you're gonna find out there is your tombstone." So when he came here, and he was right, he found a lot of silver. In fact, a mine that profited over $37 million worth of silver. He decided to name this little area Tombstone to poke fun at those guys that told him the only thing he was going to find out there was his tombstone. They weren't talking about a pizza either. They were talking about his headstone, you know what I mean? He thought he was going to die from those Apaches or the land. But that's how the start of Tombstone. But what made it famous was Gunfight at the OK Corral. It actually happened a little bit behind the OK Corral, where the Wyatts and Doc Holliday went after the McClary brothers and Billy Clanton. We'll get into that a little bit later when we go check it out. But it's the thing that sort of put Tombstone on the map as a tourist destination, I would say. So we're gonna explore, check out some different museums and streets and shops and eat some food. So step right up, let's go for this ride. And it being President's Day weekend, they actually have some fun activities here besides the normal ones. It's actually Vigilante Weekend. Ooh. Come get hanged by the Tombstone Vigilantes at our hanging tree. Go get your photo taken in a casket. All the cool little shops, smoke signal smoke shops. I like this town, Joy.
This is pretty cool.
I'm overwhelmed by all the gift shops as we're walking. This is what I want our house to look like. Ooh, Joy, we stay at this hotel next time. We can stay in the madam's room. T. Miller's Tombstone Hotel. Spend your nights in the only Tombstone hotel with a balcony overlooking historic Allen Street. For a good way to learn some history here is go to the Tombstone Historama, a 30-minute fascinating, colorful history of Tombstone. The starting point for every visitor. Well, we're starting, so I guess we should start here. The cool thing about this Historama is it's actually narrated by Vincent Price. Joy, do you want to bring home your own gunfight at the OK Corral? Some of the old toys, wide up the board game. But for $10 each, we got all these attractions. We're going to watch the shootout at the OK Corral. We get to go back behind the OK Corral, see where the actual site was. The Tombstone Historama and the Tombstone Epitaph, where we turn in our little slip and we get a copy of the newspaper that day after that gunfight.
It's actually really
good. It's pretty cool. They have some cool souvenirs here, I have to say. Stop if you don't have tickets. She's trying to stop us, but we got tickets, lady. We got tickets. It's okay.
Wyatt Earp saddle from the movie.
It's cool. With Kurt Russell played Wyatt Earp. This is his saddle from the movie. It's a Texas cap. Joy, you like the 1880s lady saddle for wearing side saddle for the McKellen's cavalry salad. Joy, animal traps. We know what I could do with animal traps. In case you don't know, in Sideshow, I take my hand and I put it straight into animal traps for my audience's demented viewing entertainment. But not those ones with those teeth. That looks a little more painful than I care to try. Marshall White's office, Joy. What did you do? Come on. Again you're in here? I told you. You gotta behave. And you see that Marshall White. This is an important factor because Marshall White, well, there was a time that when the Cowboys was referred back then as members of the gang that were cattle smugglers, and the people that happened at that OK Corral, the McClarys and Clanton. Well, see, they were cowboys back then. And before that, the reason it all started was on October 28th, 1880, Fred White, along with Wyatt Earp, were summoned to calm down a few drunk cowboys who were unloading their pistols into the air that night. And when they went to get the gun, a gun that belonged to Curly Bill, actually went off and shot White in the gut. White eventually died from that. But on his deathbed, he said it was an accident. But still, there was no convincing that. Now, the Earps, they were ready for vigilante justice. And Virgil Earp was named the new city marshal. And this is the stuff that built up to the shootout, you see, because right then, they changed the rule, and they didn't want any guns in town. And the McClary and Clantons, when they would come to town, they'd have the guns, and the Earp brothers would try to take them. And you see, the problem was that sometimes they'd take them and they were fighting and they'd pistol whip them and they'd get mad. And then the day before the shootout, there was some scruffle that happened with Doc Holliday at one of the saloons over here. And so the whole point was, those guys, they were going to get Doc Holliday. So they were looking for Doc Holliday the day of the shootout. And boy, did they find him and the Wyatt Earps, and it didn't end that well for them. So Joy.
Yes.
You want to go to a gunfight?
I think that's what we're doing.
Oh, let's do it.
That'll take us there.
Joy, what do you think of this corral?
It's okay.
You're right. It's the OK Corral. We're about to watch a gunfight.
Next time we ought to bring birds, huh? What do you say?
Yeah, him and Allie both. They could use some culture in their lives.
Yeah, I agree. My breath on that one.
Bad to do what's right, and neither do you. Red, white. You boys are in violation of ordinance number 9. I need your guns.
Hang on just 1 second. Hey, Bill, does it mean we've been ordained?
We went and made that marshal mad.
Oh, no.
I'm serious. Hand it over.
Fred.
Calm down. I'm a bit drunk, and they're a lot of drunk.
Mark, how's he doing?
He's not looking good, Wyatt.
That man dies, Bill. You're swinging for it. You turn him loose. Turn him loose. Forget this happened.
He just shot him, man. He'll stand trial for it. I suggest you pretty clear up now.
We got him outnumbered, Bill. Come on.
Shoot up! Let's go!
Shoot him.
Wow. Not living to bring Doc Holliday.
Wyatt, the man himself.
Doc, tell me, how was Tucson?
Oh, the festival was a bust, if you must know. Plenty of money to be had, but none of it rubbed off on me.
Look, he'd get all the money, I'd get all the glory. Yeah, sure, that would help me come election time, but is that supposed to make me a snake in the grass?
No, Wyatt, you are a badge and a gun. That makes you a politician.
Please, on behalf of the Earps, we don't need any interferences whatsoever.
Very well, Wyatt. I will not be the one to upset your little plans.
That's all I ask.
Now, enough of this talk. It's high time you showed me your best bottle of whiskey.
Boy, there you go again. I knew it was coming. Doc, you're still drinking all over.
Yes, sir. Hopefully you have enough this time.
I got about 2 bottles left.
2 bottles, Wyatt, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, you know, I got half of mine. Can we go back down there? Show him who's boss. Barkeep!
Bartender!
Come on.
Boys, easy. I'm here.
Morgan! Hey, Morgan, how many herbs you got in this town now? 10? 15?
There's 5 of us. I plenty enough to handle you boys.
What's that supposed to mean, huh? Doc Holliday, Long! You getting ready to go spread more lies about me, Doc?
Now, Ike, I do believe I've only told the truth about you.
That's good.
You're a drunken fool.
All right!
Hey, we're here for drinks. Not to worry, Tom. Nothing will come of it. You see, Ike talks and he talks, but he never will back up any threat he makes. No, sir. He is just a coward.
What do you want, Ike?
I want you to give a message to your pal Holiday.
I don't got time for this.
Look, you tell him he's got a fight coming, all right?
Ike, I'm an officer of the law. I don't want to hear that kind of talk.
Housekeeping! All right, I will give you the count of 3 to get your ugly.
Are you looking for somebody, Ike?
I was looking for your pal Holiday.
Let's go, Clan. Give me the bottle.
This is just medicine, you ain't got...
I'm the law in this town. You're nothing but stage robbers and horse thieves. Doc, if you're coming with us, you're gonna do it my way. I want you to hang back. Hold on to this.
Well, we are horse thieves.
Hey, guess what? Nobody likes you.
You boys been looking for a fight. Well, now you can have one.
Throw up your hands. I want your guns. Oh, that's not what I want.
Don't shoot! I don't have a gun! Holiday!
Place away, Frank. You're a Daisy, too. That was it. Oh, before it ever stopped. Now, the books will say 30 shots fired in 30 seconds. However, I was not counting. Neither were you. 2 months after this gunfight happened, Virgil was ambushed outside the Crystal Palace Saloon. 3 shotguns went off, but he still refused to die. Crippled up pretty bad, Virgil wandered the west, till death caught up with him in Nevada in 1905. Not as lucky, Wyatt's brother Morgan. Morgan was shot in the back, killed playing a game of pool up at Campbell and Hatch's Billiards Hall right here on Allen Street. Morgan died at midnight, March 19th, 1882. His brother Wyatt's birthday. Now in 1887, the year that this whole town began to shake apart, the 2 main causes of this gunfight died hundreds of miles away from one another. Tuberculosis found yours truly in Colorado. I don't care to talk about it. Wyatt, he was the last man standing out of all this. He'd spend the rest of his days trapping. Wyatt went from Idaho to Alaska to Jazz Age Hollywood looking for another tombstone and a chance to get things right. He never would find it. When he died in Los Angeles in 1929, just ahead of his 81st birthday, Wyatt's last words? Suppose.
Now, it's quite interesting how it all happened, though, that I look at it differently than most people. Some people look at the Earps and Doc Holliday as the true good guys and the Cowboys as the bad guy. Very black and white. I look at it as more shades of gray. See, the way I picture it is more like the Old West gentrification. The Cowboys were the locals, and here the Earps come into town, trying to gain power and make some money off this town. And yeah, there was some scuffles, but it was more vigilante in my opinion. And this is just my side of the story. We all seen the movie sides of the story. See, Wyatt Earp afterwards went to Hollywood, told his story, was made into lots of different movies throughout time. Of course it made the Earps the good guys, Wyatt Earp the hero of the day. Not saying he wasn't, not saying he was. Just saying there was more than one side to this story. The McClarys and the Claytons, they were coming to look for Doc Holliday at C.S. Fly's photography studio behind the OK Corral when it happened. And they got tracked down. And it's funny that Ike was the one stirring up a lot of this trouble. Ike's one like, I don't got a gun, and leaves and lets his 3 friends get killed. Wyatt Earp came out unscathed and lived out his life unscathed. But if you want to know more, besides seeing the shootout, cool thing, in the spot it actually happened, we now get to watch some animatronics tell the story again. So check it out.
Lowry outside the courtroom have buffaloed him as well. The Cowboys, now fighting bad, gathered behind the OK Corral. Sheriff and tried to stop them, claiming he had disarmed the cowboys. But they walked on.
See, Wyatt Earp, he wanted that sheriff job.
See them stand.
Fight? I haven't got anything.
See, that's Ike right there.
Oh, I don't mean that. I've come to disarm you.
Ike, either fight or get away. Wyatt, I'm hit.
I got you now, Doc. A good one if you have.
Frank McLowry, dead. Tom McLowry, dead. 19-year-old Billy Clanton, dead. Morgan Earp, severe shoulder wound. Virgil Earp, shot in the leg. Doc Holliday, slight hip wound. Wyatt Earp, unhurt.
And after that shootout at the OK Corral, the Earps were arrested along with Doc Holliday. The trial was about a month, and then they got let go. Like, hey, they were in the law, killing the bad guys. Vigilante justice was okay. I wonder if Wyatt Earp said, you know what? It wasn't me that shot the man, it was the law. I don't know. But he didn't serve any time for it. You know, they killed 3 men. Get to check out Fly Studio and Boarding House. Here we actually have a picture of Molly Fly. Photograph equipment in this case is similar to the cameras that were being used. Original portraits of Tombstone inhabitants taken in 1880 by C.S. Fly or his wife in his studio. Like we have the red over the window showing sort of what the old dark room would look like. We have our 3 trays for developer, the stop bath, the fixer, to make sure that photo doesn't stay light sensitive anymore, that photographic silver gelatin paper. Oh, squeegee out your paper. Oh, so cool. And here we have Doc Holliday's room. Doc Holliday, friend of Wyatt Earp, roomed here in Fly Boarding House and the photography gallery. Big Nose Kate, Doc's girlfriend, had come for a visit. That's crazy. Big Nose Kate actually was there in this room watching as Doc Holliday had the shootout outside the window. We're gonna enter to see a crib, but a different kind of crib than you might think, Joy, or you at home. We're gonna go look at a prostitution crib because prostitution was completely legal in 1880s here in Tombstone. Dozens of cribs, I guess they were houses of ill dispute, lined the streets of Tombstone. In fact, Doc Holliday's girlfriend and Wyatt Earp's second wife both worked in that profession. I was mistaken. Cribs were not houses of ill dispute. They were actually tents or these little buildings that lined the streets. Buildings close cribs were rented for $8 to $20 a week. Imagine then you had your little commode right over there too. About to watch that 25-minute show or half-hour show at the Historama about the history of Tombstone, brought to you by, narrated by Vincent Price, but sadly we can't film the show, so you just got to come here to watch it for yourself.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna go watch it now, so see you in a few. So it really is cool because this is the OK Corral. The shootout didn't happen here. If you follow the signs back to the cutout, leads to an alley next to SC Fly's photography studio. Off Fremont Street is where Doc Holliday and the Earps came in and fought the McLowry brothers and Clanton. Billy Clanton killed them. So it didn't actually happen at the OK Corral. It happened right behind the OK Corral. And after we went to the Historama, I learned something. The name is Ed Shefflin. He is the man that first came to Tombstone on the Apache land, found a silver mine, named the Tombstone. We're gonna go catch those cowboys with Vigilante Justice. It is Vigilante Weekend here at Tombstone.
Yeah.
Fremont Street entrance. That's where it happened. I like the OK livery and feats tables. It's funny though. Wyatt ended up going to Hollywood. It told the story, and then all the movies that got made, like, just have like Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Gunfight, the OK Corral, movie Tombstone. Woo-wee. All that history made me thirsty. Joy, you thirsty?
I am thirsty.
I think we should get some sarsaparilla. What do you think?
That sounds yummy.
Yeah, we'll get some sarsaparilla. There we go. Tombstone Sarsaparilla Emporium. Best root beer in the West. Wyatt Earp drank here. There we go. Souvenir cap says Yahoo. Can't go wrong. You like yourself some sarsaparilla?
Yes.
I don't. I agree.
Nice.
Yahoo is right. Bottle cap got it right. Ooh, very carbonated. Got a little pose there when I was saying Yahoo. Hiccuped a little inside. So if you're here, definitely come here. Johnny One Dog. We're right across from the park, next to the OK Corral. See the shootout happened right over there. There's the park. And here's some really good sarsaparilla. Joy's a fan.
New York. Please.
Yeah.
Please. Somebody in New York. Just.
Well, we just gotta come back to Tombstone. There's nothing about New York, Joy. We're in Tombstone, Arizona. We just gotta come back and buy some more sarsaparilla.
No, I'm saying somebody, a convenience store or something, get in touch with them. Bring it.
It's not happening. It's a Tombstone thing. None of those Yankees.
Closer to home. So I can drink it every day.
This is some really good sarsaparilla. So we've done a lot of history after having sarsaparilla. I think from history, we should go to some horticulture.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Switch it up.
Yeah, because you could do that here in Tombstone, because behind us is another museum. The 1800 Museum, the world's largest rose bush. It's not a bush anymore, it's a rose tree. And we're in. What's amazing is just in there's few rooms before we get there. You could smell the smell of it. You can smell roses. Ooh, like look at this. Balisong knife from the Philippines. It's a cool butterfly knife. Ruins of the Fire of 1882. Quan Li, Tombstone's last Chinaman. There obviously was a lot of Chinese people that came here. It's a big part of the culture. And I like seeing some of the stuff. Like, imagine the old opium scales, opium lamps, the opium dens, all this stuff here. Chinese petition to allow opium smoking in Tombstone in 1884. Hey, it's the Rosebush dog. Oh, thank you. Crazy wooden bowling ball used in Vogan's bowling alley, 1880s. That's interesting. I know of horseshoes, but a giraffe horseshoe, that thing is giant. And we have mule shoes and actually oxen shoes. I never seen shoes for oxen. Oh, this is cool. Postcards of what we're about to see. The world's largest rose bush starting in 1919 and watching it grow through the ages, 35, 43, 50, 72, 1990, and now the present. Look at that. And here we have Ethel Robertson Mackay as a student of Arizona, 1896. She's the one that planted this rose bush. It's crazy. The oil painting in this room were painted by Alice Robertson, Miss Mackay's mother, before 1895. And of course you need some gems and minerals because we're in Arizona. I like the different stuff that this thing has. Now we're up to some Native Americans, pottery and basketry, old dishes. I don't know, to me some of this looks like Fenton glass. So Joy, we saw some of the museum. Do you want to just go see this rose bush?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We're gonna see it. It's the giant rosebush tree. Because, like, all right, so maybe a branch could grow and go this far. But look at the center of this thing. It doesn't look like a rosebush. This has bark. This looks like a tree. And if you wanted, sadly, we couldn't get it home on the plane. You could purchase cuttings of this rose bush to bring home with you. But we're heading behind it to look up on the viewing platform. Oh, you see some more cuttings that have turned into parts of the rose bush. But we're gonna heading up the viewing platform. Here we go.
Holy. What the?
I knew it was big. I didn't expect it to grow that high.
That's probably like right in the middle.
Wow. This is something. So Joy, I'm gonna make a new sidetrack. I'm gonna go, instead of laying on a bed of barbed wire, a bed of roses. Ready? I'm gonna jump on it. You feel me? You know? Okay. Just because we don't want to damage the rose bush. A little fact about this rose bush. It's actually was featured years ago in a Ripley's Believe It or Not cartoon. Now you can believe that or not. There's always stuff happening on Vigilante Day.
You! What? How'd you know my name? It's written all over your face. Oh my goodness, I gotta take a shower. I want you to put your hat on the ground. This hat? That hat. This ground? That ground. This is my Sunday go to Maine hat. I don't want nothing to happen to it. Well, even though it's not Sunday, we're having a meeting, so put it down. Okay, well, don't do nothing to my hat. Promise me. Put it down.
Tell you what, put your money in there, because after I kill him, we'll have a party.
Put it all in, boys. Put it all in. Put it all in. All right. What? Stay out there. Can you count? How high? About to 3. I can count to 3, yes, sir. Show it. 1, 3. Wait a minute. What? What happened to number 2? Number 2 went down my boot when you put that gun on. No, you put the gun on me. We're ready. 1, 2.
The original Birdcage Theater of Tombstone. It's a little museum with some fun stuff. I said we check it out, Joy. You want to go check it out? Alright, let's go check that out. There it is, the human flies. One with the magnet in their shoes. Like we said, the belly dancer has some knife wounds and bullet holes in it. Yeah. There's a knife. I like this baby coyote. Wax stamper artifacts from Chinatown. Some cool stuff. Awesome. The Birdcage Theater is one of the only buildings to survive the 1881 and the 1882 files. 1 to 3. But this is the only one, has been renovated. It still has those same wood floors. Now, you might think I came here to see some history, the theater and all that, but you're wrong. The thing I came to see is actually right when we came in this entrance, right here. The Birdcage Merman. Look at Joy. It's not a mermaid, they got a merman right in here. Merman is the one of only 2 in the United States. It has been at the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona for many years. Oh, the other one's at Gator Marine Museum, Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. Now, supposedly, this building's haunted, and at night they give nightly ghost tours. Right now we're doing our own self-guided tour. Some cool photos of the Earps. It is cool balcony. Looking at some of the acts, like the strongman acts, the courses. We were learning about there was 2 women called the Human Fly that actually had magnets in their shoes and would walk on the ceilings. It was a steel plate. Curly Bill was recognized while getting a haircut in his chair. He was later tracked down and killed by Wilder. Ain't no Sweeney Todd chair there. You like this, Joy? How they preserved some of the old wall. Someone signed it here. 1929, 1930. You can even see some old bullet holes here. These 3 bullet holes were made by a drunk cowboy who one night shot an actor. The shots missed and lodged here below the stage. Joy, and I have some false history for you. You ready for some false history?
Sure.
This table right here was the actual table that all those dogs played cards at in the iconic paintings of the dogs playing poker. It was shot right here, this table. That's some false history.
You're right, it was the frogs.
I didn't notice. We were looking at these balconies, but as we were sitting, there was some gentleman up there watching us. Those looks like some Earp mustaches, if I've ever seen one for myself. It's okay, you know why though? Because we have nothing to worry about. We're unarmed, just like Ike Clayton was that day.
Oh, he was armed. He has 2.
Oh, you're right, he did.
Heads up.
Oh,
Lost his head.
he did lose his head. He had so much fun here, he lost his head. This is really cool. I'm talking about the performers. When I think of Coney Island Sideshow, the backstage, all the performers would sign the stage. And if you look here at the Birdcage Theater, we see people sign 7/12/89.
Horrible people.
1980. Oh, well, maybe these are newer people signing.
Yeah. Could be the people that work it now.
Maybe. Tombstone original Boot Hill hearse. We have a cute little model of the Birdcage Theater. And then down here we just have some old telegraph pole stuff. Look at those glass insulators. Ooh, I've never seen one like that.
Have not moved since 1881.
That's crazy. Those are the original we were saying in 1881.
Heating stove and whiskey keg are both originals and have been in the same place since the Birdcage closed. The original service bar.
Guy just told me I missed something. I was too fascinated by these insulators that I missed right over here. There's a hand grenade.
What?
China Mary, she controlled all the Chinese in town, body and soul. Any person who wanted a Chinese prostitute or drugs had to go see China Mary. I like this one. There's Dr. John Henry Holliday, aka Doc Holliday, and his lady, Big Nose Kate. She was born in Budapest in 1850. Her claim to fame was as Doc Holliday's girlfriend. Now with that history thing we bought at the Historama, gave us the 4 passes, we're up to the last one. The Tombstone Epitaph. Free history display. We get our free newspaper in here.
Yep.
Arizona's oldest newspaper, Tombstone's oldest business, established Eldorado in 1929. Free museum tourist information, no weapons allowed. But Joy, what am I gonna do with these guns?
Put them away.
Okay, I won't I'll hide them from them. The original Epitaph printing press. You can see how long it's been here. Joy made a friend. Are you the one we give the blue ticket to get the paper?
What are you doing? That's your leg.
Got our newspapers from that day. Crystal Palace Liquor Company, their old safe. Oh, I got concerned. Why? You know why, Joy?
What?
I thought someone cracked the safe. Get it? Cracked the safe.
You just crack me up at times.
Oh, gas intertype machine. Ink plate set next to the printing press. Ooh, do you need some royal baking powder? I think they're having a sale on it. So Joy, we came, we explored, we learned some history, we saw where the shootout at the OK Corral was.
We conquered.
We saw some rose bushes. I think there's only one thing left to do.
My tummy hurts.
Oh yeah, and you know my favorite person back in that time was Doc Holliday. Joy, I'll be your Huckleberry. I guess that means we should eat at his girlfriend's establishment, wouldn't you think? Here we have Big Nose Kate Saloon. We've got food. You want food, right?
I so want food.
They've got food.
I so want food.
We can get food. Big Nose Kate, Doc Holliday's girlfriend. Ooh, the Reuben that won the West. I could go for a room that won the West. No drinks or firearms allowed. We got some golden nuggets that are coming out soon, and I'm like, me and Joy both saw the sign outside, the Reuben that won the West, and we both had to get the Reuben. But this spot is pretty cool inside. Vigilante Justice. This Doc Holliday, his girlfriend Big Nose Kate. Our golden nuggets are playing. You excited to try a golden nugget, Joy?
I am.
Now what they are is deep fried corn bites. Deep fried corn bites. That corny goodness. They're almost as corny as I am. That is amazing. It's salty but also really sweet. We got our Reubens. I'd say if you do come, I went for cheese fries and boy am I happy. Look at the different cheese they have. Then they give me a side of nacho cheese. And look at that. That is an overstuffed Reuben. Oh yeah. Joy, after you swallow, what do you think of your Reuben?
I can definitely see why this is the Reuben that saved the West, because boy was I hangry and didn't want to see me.
Oh, she was hangry. So this Reuben should save the West today, folks, because now she's getting her full. Descend into Kate's basement. In the basement, we actually have them preserving an original mine shaft. It's pretty cool. To honor one ancestor, respect past, not only are we protecting the future. In the bathroom, it's funny. In an effort to fight global warming and keep up with inflation, we recycle. You have Budweiser, your Bud Light, and your Coors Light. Heading on North Highway 80 out of the town of Tombstone, you can come actually to welcome to the Boot Hill Graveyard and Jewish Memorial. This is one of the most famous Boot Hill graveyards you ever seen. It is weird knowing that it's a cemetery that's a tourist attraction, but oh, trust me, it is. We're gonna see some tombstones that you might have seen at your local Halloween stores, even here. And she's the girl is no guns, please. Graveyard is full. Man, look, this is what I'm saying. It's crazy that this cemetery was used from 1878 to 1884 only. It fell into disarray in the early 20s, and it was restored in the late 20s by locals that wanted to keep it. But this is a real cemetery. Some people would think when you read something like this, here lies George Johnson, hanged by mistake 1882. He was right, we was wrong, but we strung him up, and now he's gone. Now it's right here in row 2. This is where it gets interesting. We have Newman Haynes Clanton, old man, killed August 1881. But more important than him is right here his son, Billy Clanton. If you see Billy Clanton, Frank McLaury, and Tom McLaury, all died October 26, 1881. These 3 men were shot down by the Wyatts and Doc Holliday at the shootout at the OK Corral. Lots of people that came to town must not have been known by locals. So many unknowns. This is interesting. Frank Bolus. Born August 5th, 1928. Died August 26th, 1880. As you pass by, remember that as you are, so once was I. And as I am, you soon will be. Remember me.
So his horse became frightened, threw him off, and it caused a rifle to discharge and badly injure him.
This guy right here?
Yeah, injured his knee. He lay in a camp for several weeks without medical attention. When friends took him to a doctor for amputation, it was already too late.
A horse bucked, accidentally shot himself in the leg, eventually killed him. So many unknowns. When I talk about untimely deaths and how it was a hard time, here we have John Heath, taken from county jail and lynched by a Bisbee mob. He's supposedly a leader of a group of 5 men that were he helped plan a robbery that they did. And just think, like, okay, he got arrested, he's in county jail. No, the mob comes, pulls him out, and hangs him from a short telegraph pole not that far away from the courthouse. Like, wow, that's not a fun way to go. Kansas kid. Cowboy killed in a stampede. Here, Daniel Oyer, drowned. Look at this. This is a desert. Where did he drown? One of the more famous tombstones. This is one that you might have seen at any horror-themed haunted house or people's front lawns on Halloween. But no, it's a real tombstone here in the Boot Hill Cemetery in Tombstone. Here lies Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44, no less, no more. It's like, it's a funny limerick. Until you realize, no, this was a guy that got killed in a dispute. He was a Wells Fargo agent, and he got in a dispute over a package. And him and the man he was disputing with both ended up dead. So, I mean, Hancock, shot. Joni Milson, shot by King. The old rose bushes around it.
So this person ran the Can restaurant in the 80s. He was first buried in a pauper's grave. His friends had his body moved and laid to rest in Boot Hill beside the friends he knew in life.
And after the cemetery was more or less closed, Emmett Crook Nunnally. Yeah, I guess. 1884 to 1946 now. He was integral because, I remember I was saying in the late 20s, they started to restore this Boot Hill Cemetery. He was one of the main people that started to restore the Boot Hill Cemetery. So when he died, he wanted to be buried in it, and they did. Another woman integral to the town of Tombstone, Dutch Annie. She helped keep a lot of men happy in this town. Dutch Annie was known as the Queen of the Red Light District. Now, as we were talking about people like Seymour Dye, killed by Indians, and George Johnson, hung by mistake, and all these other people that suffered all these tragic, violent deaths. Here is Hilly Hickson, right over here. Now, he was a little schoolboy, and this one's unusual. He was just walking around in stilts, and he fell off his stilts, and he hurt his back. And then the next morning, he died having spasms because falling off his stilts. And when you come to the Tombstone Boot Hill Cemetery, even though it looks like all this, there's actually a little thing down here. It's the Jewish Cemetery and Memorial. A little off the beaten path. A little more than a little off the beaten path. I see it, Joy.
You see it? Oh, yeah.
It's a cool Jewish memorial dedicated to the Jewish pioneers and their Indian friends. Erected by the Jewish Friendship Club of Green Valley, 1984.
That's pretty cool.
Joy just spot a little jackrabbit in the distance. I don't know if we can see it, but there it went. Joy, he's living in the cemetery. As we drive off into the sunset, I think we can say we've done Tombstone right today. What do you say, Joy?
Oh, totally.
We went and we saw everything I could imagine seeing. The history from the Historama, where the actual OK Corral was. Well, the gunfight outside in the back, you know what I mean, where the animatronics were. We watched the reenactment of the gunfight. So much fun we did. We went to see the rose bush, the little horticulture mixed in with a little history, like I said before. I had some food at Big Nose Kate's. I saw a merman at the Birdcage Theater. Finishing up the day at the Boot Hill Cemetery. Saw some graves I always want to see from Lester Morris. So those cowboys that died at the OK Corral. And even the Jewish memorial. Like, there was some cool stuff at that cemetery. I say all in all, that was a full day here at Tombstone.
Definitely was.
Heading back to the hotel, I'm gonna take off these old boots and go take a little nap. Because you know the men at Tombstone, they're real men. They die with their boots on.
Ooh.
I ain't dying tonight, so I'm just gonna rest with my boots off. So that was good. Tombstone, the town too tough to ever die. We did it, Joy.
We did.
We did it. I think we can call it.
We can totally call it.
Tombstone. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels.
Good eats.
And live life. Joy, what do you want on your tombstone?
Extra cheese, meatball, pepperoni.
Get it, the old Tombstone pizza commercials.